Hello everybody, this is Eric Petit McClure from TrombonePedagogy.com, and for today's lesson, this is lesson number 3, we are going to play on our trombone for the first time. So I hope you guys are super excited like I am, and let's go ahead and get straight into it. So the first pitch that I'm going to teach you all is going to be the pitch called F. F is a great note for beginners because it is not too high, so you're not going to be squeezing to get it out, and it's also not too low, so you're not going to be losing your embouchure by puffing your cheeks. It's a great, pretty easy note to get your first time. Now you might get a note that's higher and you might get a note that's lower, but we'll talk about that as we go, and it is perfectly fine to get those notes. So the way that I like to start is by first listening to the pitch. So I'm going to play the pitch for you on the computer. After we listen to it, we are going to sing it. After we sing it, we're going to try to buzz it. And after we buzz it, we are going to play it on the trombone. So what I'm going to use is a pitch generating software online that I got from 7thstring.com. Has a tuning fork, and where I can select whatever pitch I want to play, and it'll play it for me accurately. Now if you want to, you can use a piano at home, a tuned piano, or you can use a metronome or a tuner that has pitch generator on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that F going. So I'm clicking on the F. Hopefully you can hear that. So the F. So I'm going to sing it. Here it goes. Da. So I'm trying to sing it nicely, and I'm also trying to match the pitch exactly. You can sing it using a da syllable, la syllable. You can say F, whatever you prefer, as long as it's accurate. So now that you got the pitch in your ear, hopefully, let's try to buzz it. Now if you think you might have lost it, you can turn the pitch generation back on. Let's try buzzing it. Now you'll notice I got a nice solid buzz. As I go lower, I'm going to add my pinky to the back of the mouthpiece. Now what this does is adds a little bit of back pressure, which makes the lower notes easier to generate on the mouthpiece. Now if I don't have it there, it becomes a little bit harder and I might not be as accurate. So feel free to do that as well. So we just buzzed the F. Now we are going to play the F on the trombone. So the first thing we need to make sure is that we are in the correct position. So the trombone has 7 positions. Let me show you all 7. So here's position number 1, all the way in towards your face. This is the position for F. Here's position number 2, which is about an inch or so away from 1. Here's position 3, which is going to be, about right in front of the bell. Position 4 is going to be right past the bell. Position 5 is going to be a couple inches away from 4. Position 6 is going to be probably your arm completely extended, depending on how long your arm is. And then 7, you're going to reach out even further. So we're going to be in first position for this particular note. But the key to the trombone and most instruments is don't just trust the position, trust your ear. So if you sound like it's a little off, like you're a little bit too high or a little bit too low, make an adjustment with either with your lips. We'll talk about making adjustments with your lips later. But for right now, just make adjustments with your slide. So if you're too high, pull it out a little bit. If you're too low, you can pull it back in. Hopefully you should be pretty close to being right on. We'll also talk about tuning. So before you guys play any of these pitches, I'm going to recommend even though I said that I wasn't going to talk about it, I'm going to recommend that you put your tuning slide, open it for right now, about that much. So it's about, I don't know, almost an inch. So this is going to help you be a little bit more in tune the very first time you play these pitches, and then later on we'll actually, tune it for real so that you're actually in tune. Hope that helps. Sorry for the interruption. So let's go ahead and get our pitch again. Make sure we got the correct one. So you could play with that. So you could have the pitch going and then play with it. I'm going to go ahead and do it without that. So here's an F on the trombone. So I'm going to go pretty much as long as I can. This is called a long tone, and I'm going to fade the note away at the end. I don't want to stop abruptly. I also want a nice clean start to the note. So I like to use ta or to. And the reason why we do it a little bit longer is to get the embouchure set and get a nice strong embouchure, and so we can develop our tone. Tone is basically the sound that you are getting. So we want to try to get a nice, open, gorgeous sound every time we play on the trombone. As long as you have set up your embouchure correctly, with an open teeth and open mouth, you should get a pretty darn good tone right off the bat. Now if you don't, keep working at it. So first note was F. Your second note is going to be an E flat. Here's the E flat. Da. Now if you need to, you can sing it up an octave. That's up to you. If you can't sing this low, you can sing it up an octave higher. So there's the E flat. So I'm singing it. Now I'm going to try to buzz it. Now I'm going to play it. Now this pitch, E flat, is in third position. So like I showed you before, you're going to be a little bit in front of the bell. So here's E flat. So that was E flat. And then the third pitch that we're going to learn today is D flat. D flat or D flat. Let me buzz that note. Now you might have a hard time buzzing that. If you do, don't get all frustrated and angry at yourself. Just move on to playing, because that's probably going to be a little bit easier, and then go back to buzzing later. So here's the D flat. Now, I mentioned this before at the beginning of the video that you might hit notes that are higher than the ones I'm playing or lower than it. Because we can change notes on the trombone either with the lips or the slide. So, for example, your F, here's the F that we were going for. You could have accidentally played too high. Now if you played that pitch, that's B flat. Now if you went too low, you could have played low B flat. So if you play one of those two, no big deal. And see if you can keep working on getting the F to come out. Now in third position, the notes that you could have played are, if you went too high, it would have been A flat or low A flat. And now in fifth, the notes that you could have played besides your D flat would have been high G flat or low G flat. So, those are the first three notes on the trombone: F, E flat, and D flat. And once you've perfected those three notes, we can start learning our first song, which I will be teaching you all very soon. So I hope this was a great lesson for you all, and I hope you were successful. And if not, feel free to shoot me any questions or comments. Once again, my website is www.trombonepedagogy.com, and my name is Eric Petit McClure, and this lesson is all done.